One of the things that state troopers do, in addition to our mission focused on traffic safety, is we do a lot of public safety missions aimed at saving lives and making our state as good as it can possibly be. One of those missions that you might not know about is that state troopers do blood runs. And so oftentimes a hospital will call and they'll have a patient that's in dire need of blood for whatever reason. They make that call to the American Red Cross. The Red Cross calls us, and state troopers leap into action and get that blood as fast and as safe as possible to the location. We don't always know the patient. And in this case, on May 18th, we figured it out about halfway between St. Paul and Red Wing. But we figured out that the 3 troopers standing behind me were rushing blood to save the life of someone who works for us, one of our best employees, Lisa Jaeger, and her husband Brent, 2 people that we know very, very well. And so on May 18th, you'll hear from Lisa and you'll hear her story, but she suffered a massive hemorrhage while delivering a baby in Red Wing. The Red Cross called, the State Patrol leapt into action, and 3 troopers were involved with moving that blood from downtown St. Paul to Red Wing, and got it there quickly, got it there safely, and got it there in time for doctors to use it and allow Lisa to make a full recovery, have a healthy baby, and get on with their life, the 3 of them now as a new family.
On the 17th, we went into the Mayo Clinic in Red Wing in labor, and it was a long labor. It was 36 hours long, and Ryan just didn't seem to want to come into the world yet. And after all that time, they decided that a C-section would be the best way to do his delivery. So we got that going, and they brought me down to the operating room. Everything seemed to be going just fine. And they counted down 3, 2, 1, and out he came, and brought his loud little voice into the world. And I remember that, you know, Brent went to go see him and meet him, and they came back. And I remember the doctor saying, you know, turn your head, wake up, you know, look at your son. And I thought that I was, and I wasn't. I was not responding at all at that point. They tried to wake me a few times and were unsuccessful. They took Brent and Ryan out of the room, and as soon as they did, I recall the chaos erupting. It was kind of bizarre. I could hear everything that was going on around me, but I was not responding to anything that the doctors were saying or asking me to do. I later found out that during the C-section, I experienced a massive hemorrhage, losing about 3 liters of blood. When I heard the doctor say, we're ordering a blood run, in my head I went, I'll bet that's the troopers that are running that blood down here. Afterwards, I did have a chance to speak with the doctor, and I asked her, you know, I said, how critical was that blood run, you know, and she said they normally tell people that it takes, you know, about 45 minutes or so to get that blood from St. Paul down to Red Wing, and she said that that probably would have been too long if it had taken that long. We were that close. And I might not be here today if it wasn't for the 3 troopers here that brought me that blood. I've worked for the State Patrol for 10 years, and I've known about the blood runs. I've actually been on a ride-along where we did a blood run. Never thought in a million years that that blood run would be something that would save my life. And so I'm very, very grateful to these troopers. I'm here today because of a phenomenal team of doctors and nurses at the hospital, because of these 3 troopers, and because of people that donate blood. I've never thought about that aspect of it before and how critical that is.
So I've done a total of 3 blood runs. That was my 3rd one that I've done. And when I found out that it was one of our own, it made it a lot more personal. I'm recently married. I thought about my wife, and if she had a child and needed the blood, made it very personal. I didn't drive any differently than I would have on a regular blood run because I'm going as quickly and as safely as I can, but it made it more personal.